You ever notice how everyone's depressed, but no one wants to admit why? Like, we've got all the freedom in the world, the apps, the options, the comfort, the self-help quotes, and somehow, we're still miserable. It's like we're living in the golden age of do whatever you want, and yet nobody seems satisfied. Somewhere between feminism, freedom, and finding yourself, something got lost. Women got tired of being told what to do, and rightfully so. They wanted independence, opportunity, power, choice, and they got it. But the strange thing is, the moment women started chasing freedom, men stopped chasing them. Not because they hated women, but because they got tired too. Tired of being told they're the problem, tired of proving their worth in a world that keeps moving the goalpost, tired of being told to be vulnerable, only to be mocked when they actually are. So men quietly stepped back. They didn't protest, they just stopped caring. And now, everyone's miserable. It's like watching a relationship between two people who both wanted to find themselves and ended up losing each other. See, here's the thing. Freedom sounds amazing on paper, but in reality, freedom without purpose is just chaos with better branding. We told women, you don't need a man, and we told men, you're not enough unless you're perfect. And now everyone's sitting in their one-bedroom apartment wondering why human connection feels like a business negotiation. Women are out here saying, where are all the good men? While men are sitting there like, why would I sign up for emotional bankruptcy with a side of disrespect? It's tragic and kind of funny how both sides are miserable for the same reason: pride. Because freedom without understanding turns into entitlement, and independence without gratitude turns into isolation. We used to build relationships on need. You needed someone to survive, emotionally, physically, socially. But now, we build relationships on convenience. And when something's convenient, you don't value it. You replace it. That's modern love. Swipe left, move on. No accountability. And everyone's pretending they're fine with it, when in reality, they're starving for something real. But real doesn't trend. Real doesn't get likes. Real requires vulnerability, patience, forgiveness. All the stuff we now call toxic because it doesn't feel good immediately. The harsh truth is, we don't know how to love freely. We only know how to perform freedom. Women say, I want a strong man, but the second he shows direction, it's, you're controlling. Men say, I want a feminine woman, but the second she has standards, it's, you're demanding. Everyone's playing defense. Nobody's playing together. And the irony? Both genders think they're the ones getting screwed. Women think men don't care anymore. Men think women don't respect them anymore. And they're both right. Because we stopped earning each other's respect. We just expect it. Back in the day, people used to fight for each other. Now we fight for who gets to leave first. I don't need you. I can do better. I have options. Yeah, so does everyone. And that's the problem. Too many options, not enough value. We traded loyalty for leverage. You ever notice how relationships now sound more like contracts? I'll be loyal if you make 6 figures. I'll commit if you stay in shape. I'll love you if you keep me entertained. That's not love. That's customer service. And what's funny is the more free people become, the less happy they are. We were sold this idea that happiness comes from choice, that the more choices you have, the more fulfilled you'll be. But what we got instead was anxiety, indecision, and emotional burnout, because when everything is an option, nothing feels special anymore. Women used to look at a man and think, he's mine. Now they look and think, I could probably do better. Men used to look at a woman and think, she's worth fighting for. Now they think, why fight when I can just scroll? We're drowning in options, but starving for meaning. And the saddest part? Nobody's winning. Women got the power they wanted, but not the peace they hoped for. Men escaped the pressure of being needed, but lost the joy of being valued. Everyone's independent, everyone's self-sufficient, everyone's alone. You see it everywhere. Women working their dream jobs, traveling, posting inspirational quotes about choosing themselves. Then they go home to an empty bed and wonder why success feels hollow. Men grinding, hitting the gym, stacking cash, convincing themselves that loneliness is peace, until they realize it's just quiet. We're living in a generation where both sexes are exhausted from pretending they don't care. Women say, men aren't emotionally available. Men say, women aren't feminine anymore. Translation, we miss each other, but neither side wants to admit it first. And somewhere between girl boss and sigma male, we forgot how to just be human. We used to compliment each other. Now we compete. You can see it in dating apps. It's like a digital battlefield. Bios that read like resumes, lists of demands disguised as standards. No warmth, no curiosity, just negotiations. What can you offer me? How do you add value to my life? It's wild, man. Love used to be about growing together. Now it's about winning together. And if you don't win fast enough, you're replaceable. Freedom was supposed to liberate us, but all it did was expose us. Expose how fragile we are without structure. Expose how connection dies when accountability disappears. Expose how doing whatever we want often means doing nothing that matters. And I get it. Nobody wants to go back to the old system where women had no choice and men had all the power. That's not the answer. But pretending the new system isn't broken? That's just denial in high heels. Because look around, everyone's self-aware, but nobody's self-controlled. Everyone's empowered, but nobody's at peace. Everyone's connected, but nobody's close. Freedom without discipline destroys meaning, and love without sacrifice destroys depth. Men stopped caring not because they hate women, but because they realized caring doesn't get rewarded anymore. They watched their fathers sacrifice everything and still end up divorced, disrespected, and alone. They saw what modern love did to their friends, manipulated, drained, and discarded. So they stopped showing up. And women? They got tired of waiting for men to lead, so they took control. They built their own empires, filled their own voids, and convinced themselves they didn't need anyone. But deep down, they still crave connection, not control. And when both sides live in survival mode, nobody feels safe enough to love. That's why dating now feels like psychological warfare. Everyone's guarding their heart like it's a currency, terrified of giving more than they'll get back. Love used to be a risk, now it's a liability. And yet somewhere, inside, everyone still wants the same thing: to be seen, understood, and loved for who they are. Not their resume, not their looks, not their body count, just seen. But that kind of love requires surrender, and surrender doesn't fit the brand of modern freedom. Because freedom says, I don't owe anyone anything. Love says, I choose to give even when I don't have to. That's the paradox. The very thing we ran from, dependence, was the only thing that made love possible. Now we've got freedom, independence, equality, and a loneliness epidemic. Everyone's living like they're the main character, but no one has a co-star. It's not progress if nobody's happy. It's just evolution without emotion. You want to know the real reason everyone's miserable? Because we replaced connection with control, passion with performance, and purpose with personal gain. We call it freedom, but it feels more like exile. Men don't chase anymore because they're tired of begging to be respected. Women don't submit anymore because they're tired of being let down.